Hello, everyone. Welcome to another water cooler chat where we talk about all things Livepeer. Thank you so much for joining. Today, we're going to be doing the water cooler chat for April 25th. And yeah, we're going to hang out. So, as people join the audience here, we'll get started and we'll do some introductions. So, I guess I'll start with introducing myself, and then we'll go through everyone on here. I am Titan. I run the Titan node pool. Been operating since, May. Or actually, apparently Franck maybe have corrected me. It was April that we started. Apparently we started on the same day. So,
Yeah, sorry,
was it April or May?
May.
It was May. Okay, so I am correct in saying May of 2021. And my topic today is going to be about, oh man, I didn't even think of a topic. I guess it's just like building community. We did a bunch of community building stuff at the conference, and so I'd like to kind of go through some of the ideas around the community building items that we had talked about and get your guys' feedback. So pretty non-technical stuff that I will cover in my topic today. So yes, community building. Very exciting. Okay, let's continue on. Let's go on to Papa Bear. Papa Bear, would you like to introduce yourself and a topic?
Sure, I am Papa Bear. I run the solar farm Orchestrator. I have been doing it not quite as long as you and Frank, but I started last year in July, and that's I guess that's that's my introduction. Did you want to? Do you want? Are we doing topics right now?
Yes, topics.
Okay, so topics. Well, first of all, it was really nice seeing all you guys on the panel. I watched the first half of it. It was pretty late here for me, so I made it till about 3:30 my time. And then when you guys broke for lunch, I was I'll catch the rest of it on the replay because I actually found the whole thing actually to be very interesting. And at some point, I mean, you guys were like, there was so much info that I was watching with my headset on, so I wanted to like jump up and grab some water, and I was like, I don't even have a minute to like take a break here to get some like to get a drink because I don't want to miss like anything. So I did find the really good info coming out of the summit. So I'm kind of bummed I missed it, but I'm glad that I was able to watch it online. And then my topic actually relates to watching it online. So I watched about 3.5 hours of it, and the first hour and a half went super smooth as far as the streaming went, and then after that, it started to just kind of fall apart. I was getting a lot of like it would look like it was buffering, but then it would never stream just wouldn't catch up, which actually then would take a full refresh of the screen, which would then take me to a page that said, this broadcaster is offline. So it was like several refreshes, and then I could get the stream going again. But after that smooth part, it started to happen pretty frequently. I mean, I would say like every 5 to 10 minutes, depending on which chunk it was. So I don't know if the issue was the connectivity from the venue to the orchestrator doing the transcoding, if it was a CDN issue. I'm not sure where it was coming from, but unfortunately, it's not the first time I've seen this while watching streams from Livepeer. So I was curious I mean, it would be nice if we had someone from the Livepeer like technical team here to maybe comment on that. I'm not even sure if they're aware of what the stream looked like for end users, but that was, I guess, it's one thing for that to happen. It's another thing for it to happen for a Livepeer event where you're, really this is like where a lot of people are tuning in to watch it, to see the technology. And I also heard from other orchestrators that were watching it that they had the same issue. So it wasn't like something on my end. So I just wonder like how that looked for people just interested in the technology, if they were tuning in and trying to learn about it and then having to refresh it. I just think it's probably, or it's not a good look for Livepeer. And then on a similar-ish topic, I'm going to throw two out there. Over the weekend, there seemed to be quite a few issues with ingest nodes, and there was like no response from anyone, or no like word from anybody on the Livepeer team. And yes, I understand it's a decentralized platform, but this was all Livepeer Inc. stuff, so that's a paid service. And I would think that there would have been more of a urgency to at least communicate or to look into these issues, especially over the weekend when it tends to be, more people using the network. And then on top of that, there is a status page, which still, as of at least an hour ago, no mention of any issues going on, even though Jjassonn did reply last night that they're looking into what was going on and stuff like that. So I think I might have brought something up similar to this. I don't know if it was last week or the week before. Just like, I don't know, like, is there, can we figure out a way to like make a process for notifying the Livepeer team when there's issues that come up, that maybe it's better than just posting it on Discord? Because again, a lot of us are glued to our dashboards and we catch this stuff really early. Just if there's something that we can all maybe come up with as a way to get that info to whoever the right person is that could look into it, rather than have it just kind of go all weekend. I just concerned about the users of the platform not being able to get their streams out. So I know that was a lot, but those are my topics.
Cool. Yeah, no, there's definitely got quite a few topics there that we can dive into. So we'll come back, or we'll circle back around to that.
Sure.
But I do like all those items. I think there's a couple of those that I could talk about. I think if Alex was here, Ingest Node, he could talk about the Ingest Node issues, or more or less notifying Livepeer Inc., because he's working on building a lot of those like metrics, those like opt-in metrics. But I don't know if that's the same thing as what you're recommending, which is like,
yeah, and I did tag him, and he did actually respond early on in the when I first there was, I guess, maybe an issue with London, if I'm going off memory here, but he did say he would ping someone, but then, so he did actually respond really quickly, but there was never any follow-up from anyone at Livepeer on that one until last night, when I actually just tagged as many people as I could think of, and then Jjassonn did reply that there were some issues. They're going to look into them and let us know what it was. But again, I think it also just the fact that there is a status dashboard and it doesn't ever get updated, or doesn't seem to catch the stuff. I don't know if it's automated or needs to be manually put in there, but it doesn't seem to serve a lot of purpose if it doesn't have current info.
Yeah, fair enough. I also wrote down authority. Authority. I'll just include you in this topic discussion. I copied down your comment you made in chat there about, which is kind of following up on Papa Bear's. The issues with end user experience happen on all streams hosted by Livepeer, so that's something that we can dive into as well. Cool. Okay. Well, what I'll do is
I actually do have one more topic that relates to it, but I'll leave it at that for now.
No.
I'm just going to throw it out there.
Go ahead.
The other thing is, because this was a Livepeer event and they're really trying to showcase the technology, aside from technical issues, I just thought the production quality was like about as minimal as you could go for, for something where you're trying to really kind of, I don't know if the actual purpose is to sell, Livepeer to people, but if anyone's tuning into that, it just, first of all, it was like 720p, which was, that's like the least of the issues, but it was like, it just looked like, before even anything was going on, just the overall, like the quality of the image, like, I don't know if it looked like it was being streamed off of a laptop, like a webcam. So I would just think that, like, for stuff like that, they might want to put a little more money into production. Or I don't know where the budget would come for that or how that works, but I'm not talking anything crazy, but just I think it could have been a better production quality on it, just to kind of, I think it goes a long way in making things look better. If there was like maybe someone that could zoom, a camera that could zoom and not just kind of be sitting in the corner. Because like when you guys were talking, I could barely see you guys. Obviously you were there, but I couldn't really sometimes it's hard to tell who was talking and things like that, especially at 720p. So
yeah, I will comment on that real quick. The people that were doing the recording and had the whole thing set up were a part of the venue and not anyone from the Livepeer team. And I can tell you that, like, it was pretty rough dealing with them. Like, it was like these people didn't care and didn't have a good, like, it was that the problem was,
and the problem is it showed, and I feel like, you know, Livepeer should be like not, I mean, it's, you know, if it was my company, I would put a little bit more money into production. I mean, it's what I used to do, was live stuff. And I mean, we used to do a lot more production on the stuff we would do, and this is, you know, in the 90s. So I just was underwhelmed with, you know, basically I mean, and honestly, it looked like a webcam. I mean, like a desktop, sorry, a laptop cam, you know, just sitting in the corner of the room. So, you know, even just using a better quality, and again, I understand they were tied to that, but I would have probably, if that was the only option, maybe found another venue, or at least worked a deal where I could bring in my own production. And it's nothing like incredible that needed to be done, but I just think that, again, it, you know, it doesn't show off the technology in its best, and I think that would really help drive adoption.
Good to know. I think that's really valuable feedback. Yeah, like I said, I'm going to jump into that a little bit later because I have comments about that being there live. So I think you have some very valid points. So and I never did watch it online, and you watched it live too. So like your feedback is like super...
I was watching it live, and I'm really curious to see the rest of it whenever that gets posted, because I just couldn't stay up any longer. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'll leave it at that for now, and we can move on.
Cool. Yes. Very good. Jjassonn, would you like to introduce yourself and our topic?
Hi, I'm Jjassonn. I run Jjassonn69 Orchestrator. I've been running it since June 8th, 2021. And the topic for me today would be, like, how are you guys managing your Arbitrum node if you're running it locally? What are your specs, and how much hard drive or RAM or processor are you using? Because I'm trying to figure out, like, I think one of Ftkuhnsman, I think he has like a community node, and I was like weighing pros of maybe like switching to community or running my own. So just putting that there.
Very good. I like that topic, and I'm curious about the answers too. I think Ftkuhnsman will probably give us a good insight into that. So excited to hear from that. Thank you so much for joining us, Jjassonn. Franck, would you like to introduce yourself and a topic?
Yeah, sure. Hi, guys. My name is Franck. I'm running Ultima Ratio with my wife, Tiana, since May 21. And I have no particular topic tonight.
Very good. Thank you so much for joining us, Franck. Ftkuhnsman, would you like to introduce yourself and a topic? Ftkuhnsman, are you with us? I cannot hear you. Oh, there he goes. He's probably going to try to reconnect here. In the meantime, let's move on to Drake. Drake, would you like to introduce yourself and a topic?
Hey guys, Drake here, core contributor on the product marketing team for Livepeer. Here to just join the discussion, not a particular topic, but was present live at the community summit. And it was fabulous to be able to meet some of the community as well as other core team members in real life for the first time. And definitely willing to share my feedback and answer any questions for those of you who watch the live stream and have questions. Give my insights that way.
Very cool. Thank you so much for joining us. Ftkuhnsman, I see you're back. Let's try it again.
I'll try this again. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
There we go. Yeah. All right. Joey here with Ftkuhnsman Node. I don't have any new topics other than what have already been suggested. So looking forward to hearing on those.
Cool. Just listening. I can't spell listening. Cool. All right. Is there anyone? Oh yeah. Well, if anyone else is in the chat or in the audience and you want to come join us on stage, please feel free to put up your hand. I can invite you up to stage. It's pretty open discussion. You know, no pressure. Just come in, have a chat, ask some questions if you have anything about Livepeer. So yeah, just throw up your hand and I can invite you up. Otherwise, we'll continue on with the rest of the call, and let's just get started on the first topic, which is going to be more or less about the summit, because the summit is kind of the biggest thing that happened recently, and I think there's a lot of feedback and things like that. So I'm going to start with my subject around community building. So there's there's 5 questions that we had identified in one of the workshop breakout sessions that are common amongst most communities in Web3. And so what I'd like to do is I would like to propose them here and maybe get your guys' feedback on, what we could do as a community to do this. I know we have a lot of technical questions we'll get into later, but this is all about community stuff. So these were the general topics. So out of I think it was like 4 or maybe 200 or 300 issues or topics or challenges that communities build. As a group, over an hour and a half, we narrowed it down to 5, which is pretty powerful. So I think these are the ones that topics. So I'll start with one, and if you have an answer that you can think of, just let me know. So how would we structure a community that is self-sustaining? That was the number 1 topic. Does anyone have an idea of what you could do to create self-sustaining community within Livepeer? I think this is a tough question because, obviously they're tough because this is a general consensus issue amongst Web3. I don't know how to create something that's self-sustaining. So yeah, I mean, that's just kind of a curious question. Does anyone want to comment on that, or should I move on to the next one?
I think I'll throw it back. Is anyone involved in other Web3 communities that perhaps are self-sustaining? And if so, what have you seen worked well with other communities?
Personally, I've only found the most self-sustaining community to be like Bitcoin, just because the founder is no longer like Satoshi's not there. We don't ask him for guidance. Like, by definition, it's self-sustaining because it's bigger than it's ever been, and it's only from people who came in, who didn't write the white paper, who didn't push the protocol. Like, I feel like what makes it self-sustaining is like the movement that's behind it. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah. What do you think is the ongoing incentive for community members within that group to contribute to making sure it's self-sustaining? You think it's just the overall motivation for Bitcoin to continue to succeed and grow, or do you think there's other underlying incentives for community members there?
Well, for Bitcoin specifically, I think it's just the reason it continues to self-sustain and grow is the mistrust of governments to manage money. I think it's not so much that Bitcoin is self-sustaining and successful. I think it's just more people don't want to deal in a fiat system with infinite inflation, and so they this is the best alternative they can find. And there's probably there's enough people that are anti-government that just would love to it's almost like Bitcoin is self-sustaining because it's against it's against something.
It's like this aligned ethos, and Yeah.
Exactly. Like aligned ethos. That's a good term. Wow. I'm gonna write that one down. Ethos.
So if we had to like extrapolate that, like, I think there's this maybe use case to where continuing to polish and like build a community around an aligned ethos and like make it that overall goal that people can get behind. I think that could be an answer to your original question, or at least an idea for it.
I mean, I think that that could work. You know, basic if you like position Livepeer as, you know, a censorship, you know, alternative censorship resistant, you know, streaming platform to, you know, YouTube and decentralized services, because I think it's kind of it goes along the same, you know, free speech and kind of, again, this is the same, sorry, same ideas as what you were just talking about with Bitcoin. My 2 cents on that.
You know, it's funny though, because I think actually the Web3 movement actually solves the self-sustaining problem. Like Web3 in itself is quite an ethos that people are like really into. And so I guess the question is, what is Livepeer's ethos?
Yeah, and I think it's a great opportunity for like messaging and content and things coming out on behalf of Livepeer, and like really nailing that down and you know, it can be an evolving idea, but like making sure that ethos is adopted and accepted by members of the community, and kind of have that unifying, you know, motivation behind, you know, contributing your time into being a community member.
I'm part of the React.js development, you know, web dev kind of persona in online. You know, you'll see the people going crazy on Twitter, but I think you know, that thing React.js came from a world in which there was a major problem in the industry, and somebody came up with a technology that made that problem less burdensome. And as you look at it today, the problem still exists, but you know, the sustaining part is that new ways, new side projects, new little things keep popping up that try to reinvent and resolve that same problem over and over again. How do we deliver dynamic web apps in the browser? What is Livepeer's? I don't know that answer yet. I'm starting to kind of get my feelings for it, but I don't know if I have enough to formulate what I think about it. But I do believe that self-sustaining is based on a real world problem that is fun to continue to solve. And might cost money, right? You know, the pains, the cost. Like, I think that was one of the big ones for Livepeer, and a lot of the stuff Eric talks about is, you know, Amazon, these centralized services, they're holding all your resources. You're beholden to them. You're paying them, and why not pay for what you use and do it without Big Brother, you know, interrogating everything you're doing? I mean, I know the security privacy angle is good, but I think cost is another problem space that, you know, transcoders, broadcasters, people just doing video on the internet are going to face this over and over and over again. And how do you solve that in a fun way and make it inviting for others to continue to jump in?
Yeah, that's very interesting. I mean, the real question is like, I mean, everyone in this chat is pretty much an OG. Like, you know, Livepeer, when it hit $100, like we had a lot of people coming in that were here for a split second, but like, you know, arguably you could say we're in a bear market. Like, things have pulled back. Hype is at a low right now. And so, but we have, you know, Jjassonn, Franck, Papa Bear, Ftkuhnsman, Mike, Drake. You know, you guys are here still. What makes you stick around?
I think for me it's the community probably because I'm learning so much things, like so many things. Like I didn't even know like a lot about Linux before I started, and right after I started, I'm like, oh yeah, you have to you have to know this, you have to know that, and then I was asking so many noob questions like in Discord, and everyone was like, they were really helpful, like, and I think it's probably the first thing would be like everyone's so helpful. That's what makes us like stick around, and then you're like helping each other. And in the technology sector, it's the dream that like you're doing something better, as in decentralizing infrastructure. So for me, I think that's the main part.
The proverbial rabbit hole is what we call that when you're talking about going down Linux and all the other stuff. It's, I think that's part of why I like it, is that it's a challenge. Like, I bored easily with a lot of things, but, running a business, setting up infrastructure for technology, those are challenges that I love. And Livepeer, personally, I believe, this decentralized video streaming infrastructure, Filecoin, Livepeer, Media Network, all these surrounding this space, I believe it's the future. So I stay for the future potential of what this network might look like. And I'm here as part of the challenge because I'm going to grow and evolve with the protocol as it moves and hopefully position myself to reap the benefits, whatever those benefits may be. And it may not be financial, it could just be, like Jjassonn was saying, the community, right? You guys are awesome. Everybody in here has been super awesome for me as I've been here now, 60 days. So, and I'm going to keep coming back for those reasons.
Well, we heard from a couple. Papa Bear, why are you still around? Tell us.
Well, I was going to say, touching on community, I mean, that's definitely what like drew me in it, or didn't draw me in, but that's what, like, once I first got here, I mean, I was like that, like, it was just amazing, the community, and it still is. So that's what really like had me excited about it. Once I got here, was just like, just what a great group of people are here. And then what keeps me here long term is that I really would like to see this succeed. Um, my background is in live streaming video, so this just seemed like a natural kind of a fit for me to be working on a project like this, or supporting a project like this. So really, I'm here for the long term to see this, to help make this happen, and just support it in whatever way I can. So that's really I'd really like to see this start to eat away at the big companies that are controlling all this stuff. I mean, I'm a big free speech person, and I feel like that we're losing that.
Plus one that, man.
So that's that's what keeps me here, and especially at the beginning when I was working at a loss and all that stuff. It was just it was something that I just believed in, and then I wanted to see it work.
Very cool. Franck.
Yeah, for us, for sure, so the community, it's very important, and it's why we are here also. But not just the community. There is also the project. We really believe in the project, in this Web3 project, and we are very excited and happy to be part of it, and to see how it will grow in the next months, with a lot of new Web3 project in real time, using Livepeer, etc. It's something very exciting.
Very cool. Drake.
I would actually love to hear your reasoning, Titanode. You've been such a great member of the community and contribute a lot of time and resources. Like, why do you continue to do it? Like, what motivates you to be a part of Livepeer?
Ooh.
I thought Titan was an employee of Livepeer. You're not affiliated with Livepeer at all, Titan?
No, I got a contract a couple of months ago to be a community lead, but I'm not employed by Livepeer. I'm basically granted.
Oh, okay.
I
thought you were part of the whole group.
No. I'm an outsider. I basically, they gave me a grant to be a community lead. So I dedicate 15 hours a week to being a community lead. But yeah, I don't have any ties with Livepeer Inc. In fact, I believe it's the community grants node that pays me, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, no, I got
Okay.
I got the community lead position grant, I guess, if you will, because of my original videos on how to start an orchestrator node. They liked those, and then I reached out to be head of community. They actually had a role for that, and but I wasn't actually interested in being head of community. Like, it was a big job. Like, it's like 40 hours a week, and you have to come up with KPIs and like all type of like professional stuff. And I was like, man, I just want to like troll in Discord and like make YouTube videos. Like, I was like, dude, I just want to like hang out in Discord,
awesome.
make YouTube, and like I don't want to represent Livepeer. Like, I'm not, I want to be able to like swear and like just be me, right? I don't want to, and so
I love it.
Yeah, they were like, hey, like, here, we'll grant you this community lead position for 6 months. And I'm like, okay, cool. So that's my involvement with them, which like, I don't get invited to any of the secret meetings, or even in Discord, they don't give me all the channels. I only see what you guys see, except I'm allowed to create events and kick people. That's it. So I have some superficial powers that give me some Discord, but like, I don't get to see any of the conversations. Like, I don't get invited to their meetings. Like, I'm still very much just a community member. But I stay because,
so what got you here and why you stay? Yeah.
Dude, I just find it fun. Like, to me, this is just fun. Like, I like, so I played World of Warcraft for like a long time. And I've been a gamer since like I was a young child. And, to me, this is like a video game. I get to learn, things. I get to, hack things. I get to, like, in World of Warcraft, you built a guild, you scheduled raids, you killed dragons. Like, this is like, weekly meeting where we talk about our nodes. We like try to build them up. We compete against each other. Like, there's competition, but it's friendly. Like,
this is the Livepeer guild for you.
Dude.
I played World of Warcraft for many years too. Dungeons and Dragons, pen and paper back in the day as well. It kind of showed my age a little bit, but
yeah. To me, like, this is fun. Like, I promised Livepeer I would do 15 hours a week. Like, my fiance, like, she like gets mad at me when I put in like 50 hours a week, because she's like, you need to come to bed. Like, this is ridiculous. And she's even on this call right now, so it's kind of funny. But I'm guilty of spending too much time on this stuff just because I enjoy it. So, and then obviously the Web3 movement, I'm really bullish on in general. I think it's a good idea. Livepeer, I think, solves a big enough problem that it could be successful. And like, I've been a Bitcoiner since 2013. Like, I'm really into the crypto space. But yeah, in general, like, I'm here because it's fun. And so yeah, that's why I'm here. And because of that, I try and make it fun for other people. Because like, I don't like being that serious. I'd rather just be fun, because I find people will come back if it's fun. So that's kind of my goal, I guess.
Well, I know a lot of us definitely appreciate it, and your enthusiasm could definitely be felt at the summit, as well as these water coolers. So thank you. We appreciate it.
Oh, thanks, Jen.
for sure, man. I am here because I saw Titan Nodes video and I was hooked on phonics.
Cool. Ftkuhnsman, tell us why you're here.
Well, That's a great question. I don't know. The community's great. This is a learning opportunity for me in many ways, both with my development skills and just, making money in the process. So supporting a good project. I don't know. I could list probably several reasons.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. So when we were at this community building thing in Amsterdam, that was the number one: how to structure a community so it's self-sustaining. Which is obviously a tough question. I'll whip through the other ones just because they're pretty much underneath that umbrella. The second most popular one was how to empower community champions. How to create educators. And then how to stay updated without Discord. Is that what that says? Someone's handwriting is really tough to read. Something about Discord, like how do we, I guess, continue on if Discord doesn't exist? Because Discord is pretty important. And then the other one is how do we acknowledge participation? So those are the 5 topics that out of 300 topics boiled down to, right? And I think those are all kind of existential questions as well. Self-sustaining community and acknowledging participation. How do you do that, right? That's very tough when you don't have a top-down approach. So, yeah. Anyway, if you guys ever have any ideas with that,
what do you mean by acknowledging community? What is that? Sorry, what was the term you used?
Acknowledging participation.
Participation. What do you mean by that?
Well, how do we?
I mean, it could be as simple as Twitter shout outs from Livepeer to individuals that are doing something meaningful, highlighting GitHub contributions or defects or doc work. I mean, just getting people's name in the light, right? Getting individuals, because for an individual, and again, I work in corporate America, so large companies tend to want to bring people up and, encourage and foster, these champions, as you were calling in, participation. And it literally is getting the spotlight on people. People love to see their name in lights. They love to see others appreciating their work and recognizing them. And I just think, Titan, again, here we are, right? You're calling out people. You're asking for our advice and opinion as if we're some experts on something. I mean, I'm sure we all have value to add, but again, I think it speaks a lot when people are out there when they want to hear from you individually.
That's interesting because I did live pool before I made the jump and started up my own node, and I was in the live pool chat, and Titan was in there and was like, "Oh, no way, you're I have a different name on Telegram," and he was like, "No way, you're Papa Bear," and I was like, "Wow, that felt really good." So I totally get what you're saying, and I was like, "Wow,
That's
I can't
right.
believe that someone I can't believe Titan knows who I am," So
That's
yeah,
right.
so yeah, okay, that makes sense to me. But yeah, so that did definitely get me to want to stay involved and and participate more, because I was like, oh my, I guess I'm doing something right, that Titan Node is acknowledging me, and so I think that is
but Papa Bear, the same goes for you too. I see Night Node, Virus. These guys all have GitHub repos, and there's Linux startup scripts. There's config examples. Here's how I run my stuff, and here's some Grafana reports, and here's this, and here's that, and oh, by the way, here's all the ingestion streams. I was looking at your repo the other day, and I was looking at that stuff. So just putting that content out there is a way that you're participating, but it's both ways. It's like a flywheel. You're going to get something, the community gets something, and then they both give back to each other. So you feel good, communities value getting out of the content you guys are putting out there. So I think this is the self-sustaining part of of a movement for a given group or a community.
Yeah, no, it makes sense, and I just didn't understand exactly what you meant by that, but now I not only understand it, but obviously totally agree with it, and I think that this community really does, at least from a community level, is really good about that. I don't know if you're talking about how could you know, and that's where it gets tricky. You know, when you talk about Livepeer, we talk, you know, there's the protocol and then there's Livepeer Inc. So, you know, are we talking about how can like Livepeer Inc. Acknowledge participation, or are we just talking about the community doing that within itself?
I think Livepeer has become all of the above, right? It's not just the Inc, the org, or the token anymore, right? I mean, if you're a broadcaster, if you're a person that is pumping your videos into the stream, are you part of Livepeer?
Sure. Well, you can be as part of
That's what I'm
Livepeer
saying.
as you want. Yeah. So anyway, I'll wrap up my topic here because we got lots of other topics to go through. But yeah, I guess yeah, acknowledging participation, exactly how I guess. Well, I appreciate your feedback on that, Papa Bear. How I made you feel when I called out your name and acknowledged you, and to be honest, I see you doing that with other community members. I mean, Papa Bear, you go out there and you help people, and people get to know you, and so yeah, like I guess just how do you continue building that? How do you create self-sustaining kind of like communities around that? That seems to be the big how-tos, big questions at this conference. So
Well,
yeah.
I know you keep trying to wrap up, but it really feeds on itself, because, you know, like when I first started up and I had questions, I mean, like, you know, I had Adrian was like, you know, I mean, he spent so much time with me on just, you know, in a DMs helping me get, you know, set up and going on, you know, getting Grafana running, and just, you know, setting up a VM and all this stuff. And like, I mean, he spent hours with me, and, you know, I was like, so, you know, like, I was like, I've got to give that back to the community. So, I don't know what was what fostered that in the first place, but it really seems to be kind of a theme that
It's
is,
human nature, Papa Bear, the law of reciprocation. It's a natural law. I mean, again, if you give, people are compelled internally just by human nature to give back. And they usually give back far greater than what was given to them. So for Adrian to spend hours with you, somebody spent hours with him, you know, and now you're spending hours with us. I mean, I felt bad. I was like asking question after question. I see you on there at 3 a.m. answering, and I'm like, dude, this guy is like working hard, man. But again, it makes sense now that you're returning it, you're paying it forward, and I'm going to do the same.
yeah. And you know, and also what makes this so interesting is because he's not here, Chris isn't here, but you know, when I say like, you know, in a sense we're all competing with each other. I think I consider it more of a friendly competition, but that, you know, like we're helping people that, you know, to possibly do better than us, and it doesn't seem to really stop people from you know, helping people out, even, you know, even with that in mind. So I think there really is something just special about the community, and I don't know again
Yep.
what was going on before I got here, but it certainly seems to just continue to carry on and build on itself. So I guess I'm repeating myself now, so I'm going to just let you guys wrap that up.
Cool. Well, I appreciate all the good feels, and I think that was a really positive conversation. But yeah, anyway, those it gives you an idea of what the challenges are of other protocols. It seems as though Web3, all protocols have similar issues when it comes to community building, right? So yeah, if anyone has any ideas on how they want to continue down that thread, or like any, because it's one thing just to be like, we, you know, singing Kumbaya, saying, hey, like we should all be self-sustaining and ethos. It's another to actually put pen to paper and actually create something that does that. You know, I tried to do that with the Titan Node Startup Grant and these water cooler chats. And so if anyone else has ideas, like please feel free to run them by me. I'd love to just keep going with ideas on how we can do this. So what I'll do is we will now move on to some other topics, because that was just one topic from the wonderful week we had in Amsterdam. Papa Bear, you talked about the live. Let's jump into the live stream itself, and you talked about the ingest node issue and notifying Livepeer. But so talk us through the first part of your topics, the summit. what did you observe on the live stream, and what areas can we improve upon, you think?
Well, like I said, I tuned in, pretty much, or actually right when it started, before it actually started. Actually, the first person I saw was the back of your head, and I was like, I definitely know that person there. But so the first hour and a half, the stream went smooth. There was no problems, no buffering, no, just it was, it just worked.
Where are you watching this, by the way? Where were you watching this?
Where was I watching it? Just what do you mean, like
what, like Livepeer.tv or YouTube?
Yeah,
or...
Livepeer. Yeah, well, I didn't even. Was it on YouTube?
I don't know.
I watched it on I watched it on Livepeer TV. I don't know. There was a link, I guess, on the Eventbrite thing. I think it was. Just had a link. I clicked on it. It went to Livepeer TV. It had basically just had a page that just started to load, and that was yeah. Once the stream started, I was just tuned in via that. And then I want to say, I think it was when Meredith was talking, when the problems just started to kick in. Obviously, nothing to do with what Meredith was saying, but and it wasn't just like I said, it wasn't just buffering, because I mean, hey, I get it, things buffer, but it was like, I mean, I had to do a full browser refresh, and it was like multiple times to even get it to take, because then it would just kind of go to then it would go to a loading page, and it would just say loading, and it would just stay on loading indefinitely, and then I would do it again, and then it would say this broadcaster is offline. So I don't know what the experience was for everyone watching it, but it was worse than just buffering, because it didn't just pick back up. I mean, it actually took manually clicking, reload multiple times to get it to kick back in. So I actually, did miss I really was enjoying almost every single word, and I felt like, oh man, there were so many times where I was like, oh dude, I wanted to hear exactly what he was saying. I just missed it, during the refreshing. That happened on multiple times. So I just I know there's no one that was involved with the actual technical part of this, making the stream happen, but I mean, I don't know, is there a way that we can put in some sort of request for for someone to kind of look into that and see where what was causing the issue? Was it an orchestrator that was having issues transcoding it again, or was it just the venue didn't have good connectivity? I just don't know what was bottlenecking the whole thing. And again, one thing for for me to miss a piece or two of it while doing the refreshing, but as far as pushing the technology out, it wasn't a good look. I mean, if I was thinking, should I switch my company over to using Livepeer, I would be like, I don't think I could, based on what I saw. And again, it's every live event I've watched that's been through Livepeer, just whether it's something that someone posts up oh, you should check this out, it's going live now, I've had similar issues. I mean, pretty much buffering on all of them. But this might have been the worst, because this was the only one that actually took full on browser refresh. Again, I don't.
I'm curious to know how they actually run Livepeer TV. Is it because again, it's not completely decentralized, so they're going to have centralized services, and my gut tells me they weren't prepared for the volume they received. But again, that's a common problem for most people running web infrastructure for large spikes in traffic. But to your point, you're having issues all over the place.
Yeah, it would be interesting to know actually how many people did tune into it. But I've seen events where I guarantee you there weren't many people watching. It should not have been an issue. I mean, just some small things that were like a concert out from I mean, it wasn't even a concert. It was a band playing at a bar, and again, I don't know how many people were watching it, but I'm gonna guess it was well under 100 would be my guess. And it was having issues, and again, it could be the connectivity to Livepeer, from the venues. You're talking about using public internet, but it's an ongoing thing, and again, my bigger concern is especially for something like this, that it I mean, when I used to do live stuff, I mean, we had I was also doing it for clients that were paying a lot of money. I mean, we were there for like days ahead of time, testing everything, running test streams, making sure like everything was good. We always had backup solutions for everything. So I just think that, especially for something that is Livepeer, like for Livepeer doing it, it makes it a real tough sell for, you know, people that are tuning in to learn about it, to want to make that transition over to using the technology if it's not working like just perfectly. Because right now the alternatives, you know, the alternatives being the, you know, existing like, you know, web 2 providers. So that's really my biggest concern, was just like, I just think it's a bad look for someone who's, you know, watching it with the intent to possibly move over to the tech.
I will say that I agree. It's really unfortunate that the cutouts happen, because when it comes to the actual production quality, like the people running the cameras, I'm telling you right now, like it was rough. Like there should have been a hired production company to come in and do it. What happened was they hired it with the venue, came an in-house crew that had their cameras, and it was like, man, I was even trying to do like get ready for my panel. I'm like, okay, I need like 5 microphones, and like
I heard you talking. It was funny. I could hear you actually saying that. Like I was tuned in before it started, and I heard you actually talking to them.
Like I was so confused.
Yeah, I felt it. I mean, I mean, you weren't like on like, you know, like mic, but something in the room was picking it up, and I actually could hear you talking to them about that. And it sounded like there was some frustration there about just kind of like in confusion.
Well, because I was like,
but
yeah.
I was gonna. I didn't want to cut you off, but I do really think that this is the kind of thing where, you know, Livepeer, they have good funding now. It's not it's not. I don't. You know, I would think they would have the budget to bring their own production, you know, crew in to, or at least hire one, or to have better quality production. Because you know, there was one issue of just the technical problems, then the production value was just. I mean, it was like, you could just tell the camera was just super low. I mean, like even when the stream was coming in, and it wasn't the streaming, you could tell it was the camera. I mean, there was like no. I mean, it wasn't able to deal with, like, there was like no color fidelity to it. It was like very muddy picture, and I could tell it was the camera. I mean, it was clear. I mean, it was only 720p. I mean, if you're like, how do you not broadcast again 1080p in this day and age? So the production just could have, it just should have been better, in my opinion. Again, especially for this event where you're you know, you have people tuning in that are considering using this technology.
Yeah, I think that feedback is great, and I can chime in a little bit. You know, it's definitely a good learning experience, getting together and figuring out, okay, what venue can hold the amount of people, and what would be good for having like breakout rooms, and kind of in a city that we weren't super familiar with. We didn't have anybody who was like home residents, so we went ahead with the venue, and that included the in-house live streaming, and I think we were hoping that the production quality would be higher than it was, and I really appreciate your feedback, and it's something we're going to definitely focus on when we go into the next event, and make sure. I think hiring an outside production crew just makes more sense. I don't know if anyone here tuned into the Livepeer Sessions NFTLA event, and it was a concert that we put on as like an after party for NFTLA, and that we actually used an outside live streaming crew, and it was 1080, and there was multiple angles, and even a mobile person moving around trying to get different shots, and the streaming quality from that I thought was pretty good, and definitely a reflection of the quality of production crew. And you're 100% right, like it is a direct reflection of the technology, even though most of the problems I'd like to attribute to the lack of I don't know, overall professionalism with the in-house live streaming crew that came with the event venue. The entire time we were trying to monitor it, and when there was a down moment in the stream, we were making sure it was nothing on our end. And a few times even I had to get up and go to the guy controlling the production he's like, oh shoot, I guess I didn't catch this. Yeah, it's off right now. Let me turn it back on. So that was definitely disappointing. And what I can say is as a team, we definitely recognized it, and we'll know going forward that being more prepared and making sure that the production team is capable of handling a high quality live stream that doesn't look just like a webcam, that has multiple angles, that has zoom. I think even going forward, having the ability to throw on the slides of the presenters and kind of have a dual screen function would look good. And I think there's a lot of ways we can definitely improve it. So I do apologize that there wasn't a great user experience.
Oh, no need to apologize. It's just I'm trying to get feedback on just what I think would help just present Livepeer in a better picture.
And you're totally right, because it is public facing, and it is a big community summit, and it was the first one, and there's a lot of people tuning in. I mean, I will say, unfortunately, the livepeer.tv was our solution in-house to be able to present it, and I think that there's definitely more iterations of that actual platform improving. I know for a while the chat function was only open to signed-in users, and then so public people who may have just opened up the link weren't able to participate. So that was a factor we wanted to improve on next time.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Right,
because I was signed in and I still couldn't even get it to work. So
and then we enabled guest mode, and then that disabled the function for signed in users. So there was
okay, because then I kept getting error when I saw guest mode was turned on. I was like, oh, maybe now it'll work. And then I was like, no, it's still not working. I was like, Jesus Christ. So I was like, all right, I guess no chat. But I didn't even notice that was there until halfway through my time of watching. Just even that there was I guess maybe that's a UI thing that could be worked on, but yeah, actually I forgot about that. So yeah,
we had a proof of participation QR code that was actually at the event live, and then we also put that link out in the chat. And,
that I did see, and I actually got one of those, so I can prove I actually watched it. I'm not just talking out my ass. No, it's the first time I've ever gotten one of those. So yeah, I thought that was.
Cool. Oh, there was a POAP for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, damn it! I missed it.
But there was another learning moment with that is we used poapp.xyz, and with that we had, I think it was 400 scans or link clicks allowed, and we went through those unexpectedly within the first hour 45, 2.5 hours, and then it was your capacity has been reached. And we were surprised on that, and we didn't know how many.
Well, that's a good sign. That's actually a good sign that
a good problem to have for sure. Yeah, there was a huge community from Asia watching it live, and I think that was also partially because just the timing of the stream lined up better with maybe their schedules. And so immediately we were like, oh shoot, we didn't even think about the capacity on the POAPs, and then we were trying to email the company to open up the capacity or onboard more, but then they were located in the US, and so we couldn't get through to their helpline. So there was a lot of moments of learning for sure. And I mean, even being able to get into
I'm glad to hear that you guys are aware of this stuff, and I now that I know that I just didn't know if this went completely unnoticed. So the fact that you guys have noticed it, I feel pretty confident that you'll get it.
There was a lot of moments for improvements. I'm actually surprised it went as well as it did. When we even showed up to the venue, I was like, oh man, this is a weird venue to begin with. There's no stage. It was I was like, wait. We want to where's the stage? Where do I sit with my panelists? And they were like, oh, well, there is no stage. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm just gonna sit on the concrete at the front of the room.
I loved it when you carried the chairs out and just put them down.
Dude, I was like, oh my goodness, there's no, and then I'm running around getting the microphones. There was no help from the venue. It was just it was for how spur of the moment, last minute, it went as well as I think it could have. My only concern is the quality of the streaming after an hour and a half in. You said I always get you could increase production, you get what you pay for, but if the live stream was cutting out because of a transcoder, that is a concern.
And again, I have no idea where the problem, like what was causing the cutting out. I mean, there's multiple places that can happen. It could come from if the venue just didn't, connectivity was having issues. It could have been, a transcoder issue. I did look to see it. I was not transcoding that. I had nothing coming from that. But it was a concern. I was like, oh man, that better not be going through me,
Right. Yeah. I truly think that
and then it could be the CDN too. So I think the least likely it would be the CDN, and most likely I would think it's the venue, especially hearing now talking to you guys about the venue. They just
I really do think a lot of it could be, and I hate to say that because it's just like dishing off blame, but I do think a lot of it was actually attributed to the venue, because we had someone who was like their role was to monitor the live stream, and so they were on like making sure there wasn't issues, and when there was, we'd get notified that like, hey, the live stream's it's down right now, and then we'd go in internally and ask, and be like, hey, is there anything that we're seeing on our end that could be causing this? And every time we'd go in for those checks, it was like, no, everything looks good on Livepeer's end. Can you go and check with the production crew? And a few times we'd have to run over and be like, hey, what's going on? And I mean, me personally, 2 times I went into the back room where the guy was managing it, and he's like, oh, everything should be good. And then like, oh wait, no, it's not. Let me fix it on my end, and then it would go back up. So like that's just a real lack of professionalism, and definitely something we want to fix going forward. I mean, I don't know who here, on an adjacent note, I don't know who here tuned into just the overall Dev Connect stream. There was a stream going on all week called StreamETH.tv, and there was a lot of events from Dev Connect, and that was powered by Livepeer. And in terms of that live stream, I was really impressed with how that looked all week, and numbers of people throughout Amsterdam.
Yeah, I didn't know that was Livepeer. I watched some of that. Actually,
I watched some of it
pretty
on
stable
demand
too. Yeah, it seemed pretty stable to me. That one did.
Yeah, and up in the upper right corner, it was powered by Livepeer, which I thought was pretty cool. I could put a screen grab maybe in the chat. I thought it was pretty impressive. But then that worked great. So it was definitely moments of good streaming over the past week in Amsterdam. So we're happy about that. But definitely the next Livepeer oriented event where there will be live streaming. It's definitely been noted that we need to have a professional production crew that we know, and we can do tests, and the venue is appropriate. So great learnings coming out of this for sure.
Cool. Again, glad to hear that you guys are aware of it. I thought maybe it just kind of went by and no one noticed because you guys were all at the event. So yeah, I feel confident it'll get addressed knowing that it's on your radar.
I'm also unsure of the connectivity of Amsterdam downtown core in general. Like, I know in the West here in North America, like, everything's relatively new. Like, we got fiber, but like when you get to the Amsterdam core, which has been around since, for thousands of years, like, how well built is their infrastructure for internet? I mean, my hotel, the Wi-Fi barely worked. Like, it wouldn't even connect.
That's obviously a good point, and actually that actually just made me think of something too. Is like, was this done through? I'm assuming this was done like through Livepeer.com's infrastructure. So it went like I'm gonna guess the stream was being sent to a through the Frankfurt. Actually, I don't know if it
Frankfurt or London. London's closer.
Yeah, I saw more Frankfurt streams this weekend than I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, I think London was down over the weekend, so that makes sense. But what I was going to say is, I think a better way to do this was you guys should have set up a broadcaster there and directly connected to an orchestrator that was. I mean, we've got orchestrators that are located in Amsterdam. Like I have one there, and I know other orchestrators do. Just you want to keep that path as short as possible. So, I mean, considering you guys are Livepeer, I think having a broadcaster, bring a machine out that's running as a broadcaster and cut out a lot of that latency, and shorten that path, could also make for a better experience.
Yeah, but if it was me, I would have showed up with the GPU on site. I'd just pull up in my backpack, pull out a GPU.
Yeah, but what what if it
nowadays you
needed
can do
like
that, though.
30 broadcasters to handle the scale? Like, how do they know?
You
How
don't.
do they? How do
That's
you
the thing.
plan around that? That's what I'm saying, is that it could have been they had 10 nodes. Like you never know until you actually start to simulate the stuff in real life. Like, how much is the upward capacity of the platform? Like, if they wanted to say, if I were there, are service providers that do that, where you can say, hey, let me point a buttload of traffic higher than you've ever seen at your site and see where it falls apart. And I think maybe those are the types of investments that might look to scale a lot larger. It probably isn't the back end. I would imagine it's the CDN and the networking infrastructure for all of the people coming in concurrently, because that's where the spike's going to come. But again, we can only speculate. But good to talk about.
I think it's the other side. I think the problem was coming earlier upstream, and I would think that, I mean, I don't know how many people were tuned in, but any CDN that's worth its weight should be able to. I mean, I don't think there were tens of thousands or more people, and CDN should be able to handle that pretty easily.
Yeah.
So I think the problem was getting the stream to them.
Yeah. I don't think
that doesn't take crazy amount of bandwidth. That just I mean, that's you're talking really just one feed going out.
There could also be an issue with Livepeer.tv's the way is it like how it receives and handles streams when it gets disconnected, in YouTube and Twitch, if your stream goes down, it goes down temporarily and it attempts to pick up the feed again, or it looks in different areas, or how robust is Livepeer TV's JavaScript that is running their front end to actually handle live streams, because it's not like it's a platform that they publish as being complete, right? So anyway, but yeah, that's interesting. I think it's a learning curve on so many fronts. I will say, production, there's a learning curve. Venue was a learning curve. Schedule was a learning curve. I mean, the commercial, the Livepeer commercial, it didn't even make it to the end during its debut at the event. It just it got Authority. I believe Authority Null was the one who worked on it, or
he did.
And it's the most amazing commercial ever. But the very ending is where the power of the commercial comes at the end, when it's goes through its speed up and then it ends on Livepeer, and it's this powerful ending. Well, it didn't even get to that, and it just failed, and it had nothing to do. It was again, it was who is running this event? Who is where even the speaker for the commercial, it wasn't coming out of the big speakers where everyone could hear. It was coming out of the projector speaker that's default on the projector on the roof, right? So it's playing this commercial out of a tin can on the roof, right? It's not a good sound.
I guess the big takeaway is you got to really vet who's doing the production and just make sure you're got someone who knows what they're doing,
right?
And
so
not rely on in-house. Small venue production is usually not going to give you the best. It's not going to show you off in the best light.
So I will be submitting a proposal to have Papa Bear running the production crew for Livepeer Summit 2023.
And normally I would be actually happy to do that, but I'm so out of the loop. I mean, I used to do that all the time, and we used to go. I mean, we had production trucks, and cameras roving, and motorized cameras depending on the venue and all that kind of stuff. But I'm so out of the loop. I don't have all my contacts anymore, so I'm probably not the right guy. I mean, I can tell you the kind of stuff that went wrong, but I don't have the contacts to put that stuff together. But we used to do stuff all over the world, so. I mean, I know that someone who's in the loop can easily vet companies anywhere and find or should be able to do that, and maybe it's someone that Livepeer needs to have a position that kind of manages that.
Yeah, I mean, in the meantime, Papa Bear or anybody else listening in, we would definitely take recommendations, or if you know someone who would be really great at production. I mean, we have an in-house events lead who aligned this stuff, but unfortunately, they were unable to make the trip to Amsterdam, and so the coordination of this wasn't as clean as we'd like, and especially being overseas, that added another layer of complexity. But obviously, I think it's in everybody's best interest to have as high quality production as we can in the moment. So if you know of people in the space or good connections, like please suggest them. Please put us in contact. We love as much help from the community as we can get, and we want to make sure these events are as high quality as we can make them.
Sounds good. And again, I am out of the loop. I mean, I was doing this in the 90s, so like I said, I don't really have my contacts, but I can definitely, if you guys have questions on like just the general process and like how I would go about just setting things up, I'd be happy to get on a call with anyone from Livepeer to just give you my 2 cents in more detail.
That's
reach out to
great.
me anytime. Yeah, no
Thank
problem.
you.
Cool. All right. Well, let's continue on with a couple more subjects. Let's talk about let's go to more technical stuff. We talked a lot about community. We talked about a little bit about the summit, the quality of all that. Let's hop over to Jjassonn. Jjassonn, do you want to ask your question about your ARB node and where you're having? What would you like to inquire about? Jjassonn, are you with us?
I have a feeling he's gonna disappear and come back.
Yes. Seems. Damn it, Discord! Why you fail on us like this?
There he is.
Hello?
There you go.
Yeah, I'm running Arbitrum locally on my normal PC, which I'm using for Livepeer, and well, I figured out like it would need a larger RAM, so I bought like 32 gigs, and I have I think I have still like 100 gigs of STD free for storage, but I was wondering like the database, like it grows per day, like maybe like 100 megabytes or so. I think a bit more, but like I'm noticing that the RAM usage goes up too. So I was wondering like why is the RAM usage going up? Because I figured like, well, it's just my thought. Like I figured like RAM was holding like a certain blocks in the memory for like fast processing, but like why is the size growing? Like
How much RAM?
it grows.
How much RAM is it using right now?
It's now using like 22.2 gigs.
That's exactly where ours is held since we started, or at least the one that I'm a part of. I didn't actually set it up, but I'm looking at it right now.
It hasn't. Have you noticed? Has it grown or has it just
No,
like
it's been like exactly at like 22 and a half, like the whole, like since we had it running. I mean, it's
really?
been,
That is
yeah.
weird because first it went up to like 22, 23, and then I compacted the database. Like there's like some commands to compact and also prune the checkpoints. I did that, and then it went down to like 17 gigs, and now it's like creeping back up to like 20. Now it's like 22.2, and like I was wondering, like,
Joey,
is it just gonna keep growing until like I only have 32 gigs on my PC, so I was just like,
Joey, do you know how much your node's using for Arbitrum?
I am trying to pull that up right now, actually.
That's the only thing we have running on our node, so it's easier for me to figure out. I don't have to like break it down. But yeah, it seems to be holding right at 22. It's always right at like 22 plus something. But yeah.
I'm seeing. Let me see here. 25%. It's not quite that high. I've got a Geth full node and our node running on the same server, and in total, it's using about 26 gigs right now.
wow, okay, that is, oh, Because I'm using like Alchemy for L1 because Alchemy seems like pretty stable for L1. I haven't had any issues with them. But like Arbitrum, they had like many issues. So I would run my own node, but like that seems slow. Like, can you tell like how much of individual node is using, or is it just like?
I don't know that it's. What do you mean? How much like just Arb is using?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's see here. It's if I go by memory here, and then Arb. So it's using 26.4% of 60.
Okay. That's 25. So you'd go 15, 20.
So 15, 16 gigs.
Okay. Oh,
So
weird.
that's
Why?
more than ours is using.
Yeah. Okay.
I've got two Arb nodes running. They're both using Pocket in the background, and one's running at 21 and the other's running at 21.5. They've been up for about 5 days, and it's consistent on both of them. It hasn't really changed much in all that time.
Okay.
Yeah, this one's been up for 9 days. I'm looking at
Do you
it.
have like any like did you have any additional features turned on, such as like pruning or maybe compacting? Maybe those are taking the RAM uses higher. Because I have like pruning set at like I think 2 days. So whatever it saves.
There is a caching strategy set. Like you can set how much cache you want to store in memory, and then there's also a process from blocks to disk and reloading them from disk. I forget the exact parameter, but I have to go look. But I think there's a couple parameters like that could definitely impact how much memory you are using.
Yeah, most of those settings, like I think there is a couple of settings which says like how long do you want the blocks to be held in the memory. I think there's like 48 hours or something. I haven't changed those at all, so I was just the default. Only thing I've changed is like I've compacted the database because it was already using 120 gigs when I fully synced, and now it's like 75, 76. And like I pruned the checkpoints. So now it's like pruning every 2 days, like 2 days old checkpoints. There's the only thing, and I was wondering like if it's just gonna keep on growing because I don't have more RAM on my PC, and so I'm wondering like what would be a best way, like maybe like we already have like a
Would
community.
monitor it for a few days, right? Because
Yeah,
it sounds like you're already at the top of the memory that they're using. It seems it's consistent with the other nodes. So maybe you just need to run it for a few days and see.
yeah, I've been running it like almost 15 days now, 15, 16, and it's been growing. So like today is like day. Well, I talked to you guys and it's like at the top. So let's see. I'll probably check in like next week to see if it's grown more, or just like the constant, it just stays there. But yeah, I think that's
And
better.
that's
And
just
then
what Arb is That's just what Arb is using, or is that what everything on the machine is using?
no, everything like everything else is using like maybe 6 or 7 gigs more.
Right, so you're like right there, like using everything.
Yeah, yeah,
Gotcha.
that's the yeah, that's why I'm like I'm thinking, should I switch to like community node, or should I like let it run for a while and see if it stays there? So I'm like I'm not sure. Yeah,
I'm going to be switching to community node. I've been running a node in Docker, and it goes down so many times, and so, every several days it just goes down on its own, and you know how long it takes for that Arb node to start up.
Oh yeah, that is painful. That is painful, man. Oh,
I abandoned my Docker work for a later time to where I can have more time to focus on. I just increased my Alchemy subscription, and I'm letting it ride for now until I can come back to that one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what happened to the grant? Did we talk about the grant for the node? Anyone followed through on that, or?
That would be a question for
a grant for a community node?
Yeah.
I haven't submitted it yet. I actually just had someone at Livepeer do a code review.
Okay.
And frankly, I'm just still working on stability. So like, I didn't want to submit the grant until I was pretty confident that this is going to work.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I just wanted to like know that
Wouldn't there
there
be
there
the
is some
proposal
support
to
for
grant
the
submission,
community
right?
node as well.
All right.
All right.
No, I was
Yeah.
just saying. Go
Sorry?
ahead, Jason. Sorry.
No, I was just saying that like there, because some of us are using the nodes, like not me, but like I think there's a couple of nodes that are using the community node run by Ftkuhnsman, I think, and it's, as far as like I've seen on the even chat, I think like community node thread, I think it's running stable, but like let's see. I was hoping like there could be some support for the node, because everyone, I think it's better we have like a Livepeer separate node. So yeah, like I'm fully supporting the move. So
Yeah, I mean, I am encouraging everybody to use it. Like, if they can, put one orchestrator on it, just because as errors come up, I want to know about them. Like, the only way to really test it is to have people use it. So the idea is, though, I will submit a grant proposal. I would assume Livepeer would grant it, and then at that point, you know, free to everyone to use. So
Are you guys familiar with the Arbitrum relay process? Like I was reading online, and again, this is another area where I just haven't had a chance to really dig deep enough. But it was saying that if you're running your own Arbitrum nodes, that there's a process that will allow you to set up multiple nodes in different data centers, but use this concept of an Arbitrum relay to feed the data to each of the data centers. So you run sort of it's not the full node, but it's something that allows it to keep in sync with the master node. So like the relay you could set up a local Arbitrum relay in, just say Amsterdam, and one in Singapore, and and then that way they'll all feed off of a master node. Maybe that's the community node should be the master node, and we should be running ARB relays or something. I don't know. I just didn't know if anyone actually looked at that or read about that.
ooh, that does sound interesting. Like I'm wondering like how heavy would the relay application be by itself? Like,
Well, that's what I wanted to find out, but I just haven't been able to get my master node working, so I never had a chance to set the relay. I signed up for the community node, but I just haven't got a chance to submit the API key. So that was my this coming weekend's project. So maybe I'll do some work on the relay and see how it works.
It's funny. I actually did see something about the relay, but I didn't look into it in depth because it seems like a relatively, I mean, inexpensive VPS is handling like all the requests without much issue. In fact, as far as like just if you're just running just the node itself, forgetting about the API and all that stuff in front of it. So
No, I'm thinking at scale, right? Where we're talking about pointing all of our orchestrators at it, and concurrent hits just like overwhelming a given instance.
But
I don't
Joey,
know if we're
like,
even at
do you
that
have an
point
idea
yet.
of like how how much of like the like how hard is Arbitrum getting hit with the nodes that are connected now? Maybe are you there, Joey?
Yeah, do you see any peaks or spikes, or is it pretty
sorry,
even?
I was talking on mute. Yeah, I mean, every node is hitting it's hitting the API endpoint at about 1 to 2 requests per second, just depending. It goes up and down in between there. I mean, as far as I can tell, the server I have running and the node have no problem keeping up with the requests. I mean, in total, it's my stacked. It's like anywhere from 10 to 20 requests per second. And that is
So
that seems relatively low.
yeah,
yeah, it's
well, what's
not
the
high.
what's the maximum have you like? What was the maximum request you got? I think there was like some load testing a couple of like a week ago? How'd it go? Like, did
Um,
you?
well, really, it's all the same people are still on it. It didn't really put that much load
I can move more of my my nodes over. Like I can move 7 of my nodes, which might double up the amount of traffic.
Well, what I would like to do, so I'm in the process of implementing a new version, right? So when that's ready, I'm going to ask everybody to move over to that because it's set up differently. It's using proxy D, which can cache responses. And so like requests coming in won't actually hit the node as many times. So I want to get that set up, get everybody on that, and see how that performs.
Very cool.
I can say this: I'm running just basically everything on a single node that I'm not using. I mean, I'll put like a node onto the community one every so often just to kind of check in on it. But I'm running what am I running now? Like 5 nodes, and I have put my block polling down to 1 on every node just to like hit it as hard as possible. And I don't know where the what would bottleneck first, but as far as like the CPU usage, I mean, it's usually like at 2% of the CPU, you know, hitting the CPU at like 2%. So I would think it could, like, one could handle pretty much all the orchestrators that want to connect to it. I mean, obviously some people don't want to, some people want to run their own. But I mean, I don't know. It just, I'd be, you know, I think a lot of the problems that we run into with these public ones is there's a lot more people using those things than you know, several orchestrators.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean,
I could be wrong. But,
I was thinking like maybe we could run a community node so that like even the broadcasters who are interested in like joining Livepeer, they could have like they could connect to the community node instead of like public, or they might have their own, but like just as a, I guess, backup as a
Are you
community node.
saying that so that those folks can fund the community node, or are you just saying you
No,
want to add
like
additional load to it?
no, I was just saying like when and if, I mean, like, well, I mean, we're gonna probably get it, but like when we fund the community node, we could like promote it as for even for like broadcasters and like
I see.
other users,
Yeah, but
not just like
That's if
orchestrators.
Livepeer grant goes through. You're saying if you submit the grant and they approve, then you can basically make it publicly available for anyone doing Livepeer that requires Arbitrum node.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Because
isn't that what Ftkuhnsman's already doing now?
Yeah, that's the goal.
okay,
Yeah, that's what he's saying. Is he's
maybe I was
waiting for
just
that to
thinking like,
happen.
yeah,
Mm.
maybe I was just thinking like shorts just for like just for orchestrators, but like, yeah,
I
I
mean,
think
it
that
doesn't
would be
matter to
really good.
me. Orchestrators, broadcasters, I mean, I really the only way I'm going to know if it can hold up to the traffic is to get more people to use it.
Yeah, I'll switch all my stuff over. You just give me the thumbs up.
Yeah, I'm gonna switch over tonight. I'm gonna do the same.
Yeah, I mean, you can switch over currently, but right now I'm rebalancing some things because I've got the API endpoint, the ARB node, and the Geth node, full node, all running on the same server, and it's the Geth node actually takes a lot of CPU resources. So I'm separating things out. That's why I'm deploying this new one. It's just going to run the API endpoint and an ARB node, and then use the other server as like a failover. So
yeah,
I mean,
are you saying it's better for them to wait until you get that done, or you want them to switch over now?
I mean, I would say wait, because there's a possibility that there's going to be a couple of short instances of downtime when I'm restarting the node and everything to make it work. And so far when that's happened, it hasn't caused anybody to, like, it hasn't caused their orcs to crash or anything, as far as I know. But just for safety's sake, and not losing any streams, you might want to wait.
Has anyone seen does anyone see that like the test streams are not coming through for LA?
Yep.
Is LA down? I haven't got a stream
Yep.
with.
It went down.
LA's
I mean,
been
the last
dead
stream
for
I
me
saw
for
come
a
through,
while.
and I've got a lot of, you know, I've obviously I can see because I'm transcoding for Untitled in LA. I've got, you know, my node, and then I also do Livepool. The last stream I saw come through LA was yesterday afternoon at like 5:45 Eastern time. And it's just been down since then, and then no test streams have come through since then.
Yeah.
So I would be willing to bet it's down, based on no traffic on any of those from any of those people. And it was cranking all weekend before that. I mean, it was like the busiest I've ever seen it.
And the status on these, they say they're up and running?
No, they said they're aware of. I posted last night. I tagged Jjassonn and a bunch of Livepeer people because I was like, "Are you guys aware that LAX is down? Some issue, or London's been down all weekend." So Jjassonn said, well, I guess it's in the chat.
It says it's up right now.
You're talking about if you look at status.
Yeah.
The status page. Well, status page. That was what I was saying earlier. The status page doesn't seem to update or be of any use. I mean, it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't say London's down, and London's been down all weekend. So,
right, yeah, because I'm just looking at my history.
I won't say it's useless, but it's not updated, and I don't know how the hell. I honestly don't know how that works. If I would think if it would recognize that something's not up and should just automatically just show it as being down.
Whoa.
But Jjassonn did acknowledge that there are issues. They're looking into it, and they'll let us know what's going on. But traffic's being rerouted from what he said to other nodes. But it does seem to be pretty big because I'm not getting anything out of London, Prague, and now LA.
Whoa, this is crazy. 17 streams. This is Chase Media's node. It's at 17 streams right now. Like
Chase does?
Yeah, 19. She's like chilling at like 17, 19 streams.
Oh, I see that.
How is this even possible? Wait. How has she not won a ticket? I don't understand why this is happening.
I mean, she's usually. I mean, Chase is here. I mean, you usually don't have that many streams, though, right?
No. But wait, tickets received. Tickets received are not going up.
I want to know, where's that traffic coming from?
Wait, something must be glitching out because she hasn't received a single ticket. Wait.
Can't win if you're not getting tickets.
Yeah, how long has it been at 17, 18 streams?
2 hours?
Yeah, that's a pretty good run, actually.
Yeah, but something's not right.
I want to know where that traffic's coming out of.
No, but
I'd be curious to check the logs and see what.
But she's not getting any tickets. Tickets received. Uh-oh. She changed the ticket value or something. Wow, this is bizarre. This is...
I mean, that in itself wouldn't give you more streams, though.
Wait, how does she have 17 streams? Is this real? Wait, but her transcoding score is 0.
Transcoding score is 0. What is it? I don't know what you're...
Sounds like big trouble in Little China over there, man.
Oh my goodness, I'm so.
If the white hand is up, does that mean she's raising her hand? Right? That's not.
Hold on. Oh, I didn't. Oh, there she is. Hold on. Invite to speak. This is. I'm.
Rather than us try and figure out what's going on, let's have Chase tell us.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hi. I see that my my orchestrator is under scrutiny from the team.
No, not scrutiny. In awe right now as to what's happening.
No, what I did was I changed the GUI per pixel, and I restarted the node around when I was getting around 2 hours ago, I guess, whenever it said I started getting streams. So that's what I've done this morning. It went offline last night at 8 p.m. for whatever reason, and I only restarted it this morning. So
why aren't you getting any tickets, though? I think Titan's pointing out that you're not receiving any tickets. Is that something you've noticed?
How low did you put your price per pixel?
Hang on a sec. Let me just confirm because I put it back to pretty much what it was before.
Because this is kind of mind blowing right now. I don't understand how you just, and it's like you're stuck at 17. Like something's not right.
Yeah, it's glitching out. It was glitching out yesterday. That's why it went down, I think. So, it is.
Your transcoding price is 1,060 way.
One price per unit, 1055. I literally, that's the only thing I changed. And then I restarted the node. And then what have I got here? Livepeer. Yeah, that's really all I've done.
Yeah.
Like, ETH transaction. And then I called reward, and actually nothing's happening on the node. After it called reward, now nothing is happening.
I wonder if it's frozen, because that is a really.
It looks like it's frozen. Yeah, it does.
You receive stream, but are you transcoding? Can you check if you are transcoding? Because I have already see this problem. The stream stay for hours, but you are not transcoding. In fact,
that's right, Frank. Actually, yeah. Now I've got yeah, it's just non-existing PPS 3 referenced is the last one, but it switches between PPS 0 to 3, and just looks like a lot of error codes. And
I wonder if you might have maxed out like your GPU and it might have crashed. Is what I'm thinking. If you like, how many streams can you handle?
She can handle 60.
Oh, okay, then that wouldn't.
She's got 3 GPUs in there, so like 19 streams shouldn't crash.
It looks like it. Yeah, it's just glitched out for ages. That's probably why it's just stuck on 17, but it's not accurate, I would guess.
Yeah, because usually you see some bouncing around in there, so it does look like it crashed or something's frozen.
Yeah, I got decode slice header error.
If you run the NVIDIA SMI command, does it show all 3 GPUs still? Because I had that problem. I had 2 GPUs, and occasionally one would drop off, the other one would stay on, and the node continued to run, but it wouldn't transcode anything.
Oh, right. That's interesting. If one of them's gone offline, then it's...
Yeah, because now that I'm looking at it, I see that like it looks like everything kind of just stopped at well, at least in my time, 12:55, and so that would have been like 45 minutes ago. It looks like nothing's happened since then.
It's just got heaps of error. They're not even error codes. It starts off with. Sorry.
Do you guys run multiple processes for each GPU, or do you have like all GPUs tied to one Livepeer process?
All GPUs tied to one process.
Okay.
Yeah, all my GPUs were identical, so I ran one process, but there's nothing to stop you running separate processes if you've got different capacity GPUs.
Well, that's what I was doing. I've been running, like I have 3 GPUs in one node, and I just run 3 separate transcoder processes on each GPU because I wasn't sure how, like if one would max out in the middle of streams, what would happen to the other 2? Like, does it evenly distribute that stuff or what? So I just wanted to isolate them so that I didn't have to worry about these concurrent streams.
I mean, we rarely get enough streams to max out one GPU, let alone like...
Yeah, I've seen that too. I've struggled with that as well. That's why I wasn't sure the right answer for that.
You know, like... Yeah, like, you know, people are joining Titan Node pool and then they're leaving because there's just no traffic at all. And like, yeah, it's like, it's just like, yeah. Well, it's so funny that because I was looking at screenshots I took from like last year around this time, and I was averaging like 20-25 streams. And like a year later, I'm like, oh man, there's so much more supply now. Like I average like 4 streams. Like, life was so good back then.
That's crazy. Why though? Is that because there's no one using it, or is it because there's so many more orchestrators actually putting in GPUs?
Yeah, well, yeah, the latter. It's like like when I first started, there was very few high performing orchestrators. Like very few. Like if you just came in with one GPU anywhere on the globe, you could max it out like almost right away. Like there was just like no supply. And then ever since like I put out those videos,
I was going to say, ever since you said like you taught everyone how to do the geolocation thing, that's when you
yeah, the geolocation thing really really leveled the playing field quite a bit. And now we're all competing for around the globe work, and it just more supply. People have gotten so much better. Like, dude, when I started, the highest score anyone had globally was a 7, and the highest score anyone had locally was like maybe an 8 or a 9, like just barely. Now we have global scores at like 9.99, and every location has at least one person 10 out of 10.
I was gonna submit a request to add a couple more decimal places to that to see where we fit, because I know
they almost need to redo the scale now. Because like I was thinking
fractions matter, right? Like every so many percents matter, so you got to see all those digits in order to know where you rank. Otherwise, everyone's ranked in the same.
I mean, yeah, like. When I started, I had a global score of like 8.1, and I was like number 1, and I was like, whoa, like my geolocation DNS thing worked, like I'm number 1 at 8. And now if you have an 8 globally, you're like 4th page. It's like
I remember that too, and I was like, damn, how does he have an 8, man? How do I get over 8? I'm in the mid 5s, and if I get lucky, I hit 6. Like if everything just like worked perfectly. But I was running one node on the West Coast at the time, so
Yeah, so
Titan,
it's just supply.
Why aren't you using your livepeer.com for your videos and these water cooler chats? Because wouldn't that put work on the platform for us?
I mean, I could, like, I mean, I have run the problem. Okay, so I could run this through Livepeer, and I have in the past. What ends up happening is the problem is YouTube already transcodes all the video. So like I don't need to transcode the video before I send it to YouTube to get transcoded again, right? So YouTube already does that, and I'm an end user, not a developer. So like if somebody has a better platform that I can use to upload or live stream, like I'll switch to it. But like there hasn't been a better platform yet, and YouTube already just eats the cost on their centralized servers. So like I have in the past, but like there doesn't seem to be a point. So yeah, I mean, I'm not a user of Livepeer all the time. Yeah. But then again, it's like if I needed to transcode my video, like I have gaming PCs and that can transcode my videos as I send them out, right? Like I don't really need to use the Livepeer network. But that's just it depends. I mean, again, all my viewers are on YouTube. It comes down to that what do they call it? Audience lock that like Web 2 companies love. And until we like supersede that some way, it's pretty hard to get mass adoption onto a new platform.
Yeah, we need some sort of a Livepeer portal, like where you can see everything that's going on Livepeer, just to kind of help people out that are using the platform get a little more visibility.
What do you mean have more insight into the actual infrastructure and availability and throughput?
No, I just meant like if you're streaming and you want to be like part of like a portal where like anything that's like streaming live through Livepeer, you can have like your basically a little searchable index of videos that are to go through. I mean, I don't know how many people would able
Oh,
to
I
find that.
see.
But
Just
yeah.
like you're basically saying a YouTube clone for Livepeer, though.
I didn't think of it that way, but yeah, I guess kind of. I mean, yeah, I guess so. Just some. I mean, I don't want to say YouTube clone, but just because I mean, YouTube's also
A way to
more.
search and index live streams and have replay, and
Yeah, because I mean, one of the
that's
toughest
pretty much
things about is getting an audience. So if you can like aggregate that stuff somehow, at least it helps bring people to a single point and you could possibly get more views than you would just unless you're sorry, Livepeer is appealing to people that already have an audience and want to get away from a YouTube type thing. But for a
right.
small person, it's like how the hardest part is to get traffic, to get people to even find you. So I think that could be a benefit down if there was a way to kind of make it easier to find people that are streaming.
Yeah, pull people away from YouTube who's already successful and got an audience. So that would be the target market to get them back to Livepeer. If we can get those folks to Livepeer, we got to find out what their pains are.
I mean,
right, but see, those people can also just put it on their website and still use Livepeer. It's the people that are small starting up that like no one knows to go to their website to look for it. So if there was something like a Livepeer, like just calling it a portal for lack of a better word, where you just go and you're like, let me see what these independent people are doing, and you could even have categories and then a search or something like that. It might.
Well, I'll give you a perfect example. I'm working with Nightnode on the Docker documentation for running orchestrators and nodes and stuff, and he's got his grant for that stuff. And I'm going to publish his content on the website, but I want to walk through some of it in a tutorial video. I think if I record it on Livepeer and save the stream there, right, I can still point it somewhere else, upload it to YouTube, and do all that as well. But I would rather link to that recording from Livepeer on my website or on Twitter, and just to kind of focus on it. I know it's minor, but again, give me 1,000 minutes. I'm gonna use it.
And that absolutely would work, especially. No, and that would definitely work, especially like if there's someone on Discord asking like questions about how to do that, and you give them the link. Nope, then it works great for that kind of stuff. It's more for like that organic, finding things is where it gets to be tough for small guys.
That's right.
That are to find stuff. I mean, that was always that's so much stuff on the internet. That's the that's the tough part, is to be able to like find the little nuggets of good stuff.
Yeah, like Livepeer is just infrastructure, right? Like you can already use decentralized versions of YouTube. I mean, you just go to dtube.com or whatever it is. It's a YouTube knockoff. It's decentralized, like, but like nobody's there, right? Livepeer.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say someone sent me a video the other day on something called PeerTube. I totally forgot about that. And I forgot to even look more into it, but it looked like it was something that's kind of more along the lines of what is it? Oh man, what is it? Media Network, the one that does the peer-to-peer.
Oh
yeah, Media.network. I've been looking at them quite a bit.
And the PeerTube thing, I just kind of clicked around on a bunch of videos that were on there, and they all worked really well. I mean, they all streamed just super smooth, and I mean, it's all on-demand stuff. But I think it shows you like what percent came from like like the main server and what percent came from like a peer. But it seemed to work pretty well. I thought it might be a good somehow fit for to work something out with Livepeer for their live stuff at least. I don't know enough about it, and now I'm making a note so that I can go back and look at it, because I was like, I'd never heard of this before. Didn't have a whole lot of content, but it seemed to be stuff that like maybe like YouTube wouldn't be. It wasn't like anything like that was like X-rated or anything, but it just didn't seem like the kind of stuff that like YouTube would be happy about having on their platform. More like political kind of stuff.
What about the things that you can't do at YouTube, like this? Like I was playing around with Miss Server recently, and one of the things I'm trying to get working is multiple browsers connecting on like a video and audio service through WebRTC to the actual Miss server, and then Miss server doing all the transcoding and sending the streams out to Livepeer. And like this group of people here, like 8 people on the call, would be perfect for that kind of a use case, where you can't do that on YouTube. You can't live stream a multi-stream without, you know, some integrated service in the middle, right? Where you have the, you know, the Zoom calls and the Google Hangouts that do it, then you can just share your screen. But I'm talking about actually streaming from, you know, 8 independent PCs, browsers, and converging it and sending it out. Like, those are the types of examples that I think are going to really differentiate this platform from others.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see Miss Server in action. I haven't played around with it, and
I have
I'm
it
not sure.
running on one of my VPSs. I can make it public if you want. I'll make sure it's locked down, but I can get an example out there. You can put some videos through and put some work on the
Like,
network.
I don't even know how it works. I was just like, I knew there was, like, they were working on like a new
Oh.
version, and everyone kind of just said, like, you know, hang on till that. And I was like, all right, I'll wait.
Yeah,
I
they
haven't
put
heard
version
anything
3 out, and I found through some ninja Googling a Docker image that they published recently for it. So I was able to pull it down, and you know, with the Docker stuff, it's just pre-configured. So I was able to get it up and running without having to know much about it. And you know, it's interesting.
Yeah, because I searched around for some documentation just on Miss Server or like any demos or anything. I could not find one thing. So
Yeah, it's pretty hard to find anything useful on it. It's pretty sad.
because it sounds like it's a great piece of software. So I'm hoping that that starts to get some traction, or that they at least promote it to us so we know what it is. Because
well, like I said, I'll get it, you know, get something out on the public, and I'll share it in the chat, and you guys
yeah,
can
share it in the chat. I'm
mess
curious to
around with
just
it.
kind of like see what it is, because I honestly I really don't even know what it I don't even know what it does. So I'm like, so you're saying you put it on your server. So what does that mean? Like, I can use it then there? I just don't even know like how that would work. I would stream to
Well,
that, and then
it's
it
like,
goes out,
just
or
think of it like an Arbitrum node, right? Like it's gonna have some ports that accept certain protocols coming in, right? So you can stream like WebRTC, or you can stream, you know, all different kinds of video formats, and then it comes out the other end in also different formats. So sending it to Livepeer is just part of the process, but it's a centralized. Go ahead.
Does it work kind of as a broadcaster now? Is like what we use, or what Livepeer is using as broadcasters, but like more robust?
Actually, it is. And I think the one of the features I haven't had a chance to play with is that the broadcaster component will be part of Miss Server, so that when you're doing the transcoding, ingestion, and all of that, it's going to come from a broadcaster that would be configured directly in Miss Server.
Yeah, that's what Livepeer needs, because that brings more streams. It's like, you know,
It
a lot of
makes
people
it
get
easy for
confused
people
thinking
to
we
throw
want
them
big
up there.
Yeah, a lot of people think, you know, we want big audiences, but we don't. We want lots of creators. That's what brings, you know, at least as an orchestrator, that's what brings us streams to transcode. You know, one stream can go to 1 million people, but that's still just one stream for us to transcode. So we want lots of small guys shooting stuff out to. We don't care how many people they shoot it out to. We just want lots of people streaming through it.
That's the whole reason why I'm here. Like, the main reason why I'm here is to, one, understand the back-end infrastructure, but I need to scale a business that's going to provide these services to the masses, the general people. Like, that's the company I'm building, is to do that. Yeah. How do we get regular people driving traffic to the network? And again, as an operator, I can benefit from it as well.
I think the killer app is actually like movements and like protests. When I was when I was watching the Canadians protest in Ottawa, there was like 24-hour coverage of like hundreds of people, maybe like whatever, dozens or hundreds of people just with their iPhone with like a battery pack on their waist. And they were just live streaming 24/7, walking around, just like keeping live coverage of the protest, right?
Yeah, that's a great idea. Like, just basically like pocket phone news reporters, right? Yeah. Like, everyone's a on-the-go reporter.
Yeah.
So a mobile app then would be really a killer. A killer feature for Livepeer, than just to kind of have a broadcast built into right into the phone.
Yeah, because
also part of it, a web-based one and a mobile app. Those are both things that I'm building.
Because they're built on, they were live streaming to Twitch or YouTube. But what was really fascinating was there was a couple channels that would congregate like the 5 or 10 top ones into one screen.
I saw a few of those. Yeah, I saw a few of those.
And you could watch.
And I also saw a few of those disappear off of YouTube also. So
right?
that's one of the things that would be great to not have to.
Yeah, like censor
that.
Livepeer's perfect example is these like 100 people all basically live streaming the exact same event from a slightly different angle, each of them getting 1 or 2 views, or like 10 views or 50 views, right? Like they're not big things. And it's somewhat sensitive where like maybe YouTube doesn't necessarily want to promote that type of content. But it needs all the resources, and some of these people walk around with 4K. Literally, this guy has a YouTube channel called like 4K Video, and he streamed 4K live at this event of some guy like sitting on the side of a pickup truck talking about his experience with the whole protest. And I was like, this doesn't need to be in 4K, but like, here we go. This guy's streaming this in 4K.
Think about that though, Titan. Think about that. YouTube is going to ingest the cost of streaming that and transcoding that 4K. But if you're an individual operator and you're running a site yourself and you're going to do that, and you're using Livepeer, and this is the part that I've been struggling with when I've been posting in the chat about profitability, is that if a user is going to absorb that cost, like it's micro for each person, but collectively that's expensive when YouTube's paying for it already, like because they have that massive infrastructure. So how does it become affordable for that guy with that 4K camera running down the street with his Livepeer mobile app? How does he do that?
You need to put in like a Web3 tipping option so that like
no,
can, like hook their wallet up. And
he uses a Web3 CDN, like what Livepeer Inc. is, right? I mean, that is the cheaper option.
It's not like he's going to be paying
mass people receiving the content, but he still got to pay to actually transcode his content.
No. You got this a little backwards. It's the viewer that pays for the transcoding. It's not the publisher, right? The publisher is the one trying to monetize. It's the viewer that has to pay. And so it's the view.
Well, this guy here, like, where was his stuff coming out? Like, where would you view his stream?
YouTube.
On YouTube.
Yeah, and viewers pay.
But if he was using Livepeer, he would have to pay to transcode that.
No. You got this backwards though. Livepeer is not it's not for publishers or viewers. It's just infrastructure for developers, right? Like it's.
Well, if you sorry, go ahead. Yeah,
so someone wants to make a competition to YouTube. Well, they use Livepeer to save costs on their end, right? And what pays for it is advertising, right? And who pays for the advertising? The people that want to advertise to a viewer, right? So it's essentially viewers that pay for the application, not the publishers.
But why?
Right, but Papa Bear is pointing out like
if he's putting it on YouTube, why does he need? If he's putting it on YouTube, why does he need Livepeer? Like, what is Livepeer bringing to the table there?
But the idea is that YouTube switches over to Livepeer or some sort of competition. Like Livepeer is not. It's not for streamers. It's for app developers. It's for businesses. It's for Web3 projects. And the person publishing the content will always be able to publish the content for free, right? It's the viewer that has to pay, and they have to pay by watching ads or donating some sort of basic attention token, or like it's the viewer, it's the eyeballs that pay.
Or they could, or this guy could do it himself if they're, let's just say, like, we had that Livepeer portal and people like log in with their MetaMask, and he could either do it like you're you're paying a tip if you enjoy the content, and he's hoping to make money like that. That's how you do completely out of it.
Like a subscription model you're talking about, where I can connect my wallet.
It could just be like like when you're watching Twitch and you see people just start like giving tips for I'm not a big Twitch guy, but I've seen you're just hoping to get tips, or you could do a subscription, but I don't think for something like that you're going to have enough reach to have people subscribing to you. But
I do believe that people are addicted to the advertising model, and I don't think you're going to get away from that. And so,
And then that's the other thing too, is what about someone building an app that ties into Livepeer that puts ads into, either overlays or, cuts away for, 30 seconds, 15 seconds or whatever, and just inserts ads into your stream.
well, no, like, again,
I'm just trying to think of ways to get rid of YouTube.
Yeah, well, I think it's all based around basic.
YouTube yourself, then, right? You become YouTube doing that.
Yeah, no. But I think the key is to use something like basic attention token, where you get served up ads based in your browser that's completely separate of your live stream, right? And then you use a Web3 protocol that you watch your live streams through, or your decentralized YouTube, but you can only watch it if you use Brave browser. In which case, when you use Brave browser, you automatically tip basic attention tokens based on who you view, right? And
yeah, that would work.
Right. So like Titan Node YouTube channel, I earn basic attention token for people that watch my YouTube videos using Brave browser, right? So it's already overlaid, like they're already doing that, right? Now you just have to eliminate the YouTube part of it. And so what happens is the people that earn the basic attention token, well, a portion of that has to go pay for the infrastructure, right? So the marrying of basic attention token into these platforms, I think, is the key to paying for infrastructure costs.
And you would classify that as outside the scope of Livepeer Inc. as well.
Yeah. It supersedes that, right? Because basic attention token is to me, I'm like super bullish on it. It's literally the best thing since sliced bread, right? I watch 0 ads on the internet, but I allow ads to pop up in my browser because I want to A, earn basic attention tokens myself, and B, support the people who I actually watch their content, right? So I use Brave browser. I, watch YouTube videos every month. Automatically, it contributes a portion of the basic attention tokens I earn to the people that I watch, right? But then there's nothing saying.
Did you go through the process of filing the content creator application? Like you can sign up with Brave and become a content creator, and then register your site, and then when they view your site from Brave, they actually the registering of your site and the user's browser together, you both then get that BAT token as a creator.
Titan Node receives BAT tokens for, I think I have 6 assets that I receive Titan basic attention tokens.
That's awesome.
So
You're killing it, dude. I want to be like you.
Yeah, you can go to Titan Node Twitter and you can donate to any one of my tweets. You can go to my Titan Node YouTube channel, and just by watching my videos, you automatically donating basic attention token to me. If you go to my website, you're donating to basic attention token to me. If you go, anytime you interact with Titan Node online, my Reddit, anytime you interact with me, you're giving me a basic attention token, right?
Wow, that's cool.
So I receive advertising payments without even being a partner with YouTube, being a partner with Twitter, being a partner of anybody, right? It's all decentralized, autonomous, and people donate their like, dude, I've earned tons of basic attention tokens. It adds up over time too. It's amazing. But I would donate a portion of that automatically to pay for infrastructure if there was decentralized YouTube, right? That is the model I see working. And like, I'm telling you right now, basic attention token has insane adoption that people don't even know about. Like, man, I get ads. You have to buy basic attention token to advertise on Brave. And like, man, I'm getting ads from the Canadian Milk Association, like the Dairy Association of Canada, and like the Canadian government and like Canadian banks. Like, I'm like, dude, like, advertisers love eyeballs. Basic attention token is amazing, and people are these large institutions are buying it as advertising. And that's what pays content creators.
So do you have to turn that on, that feature on Brave? Because I don't. I mean, I use Brave, but I don't. Sorry, do you have to turn it on to be contribute? Like if I'm watching your video and I've never turned on basic attention token, are you still getting
it's on by default. It's on by default.
Right. So like I'm pretty sure I turned it off when I first got Brave. I was like, I don't want anything.
Did you ever create your wallet with Brave?
Well, did you?
Because that's the part that takes time, right? You create your wallet and you have to set up the account, and once all that's set up, I don't know if you didn't do that. I don't think that the Brave browser just starts working.
Yeah,
right?
it does. No, out of the box, the Brave you don't need a wallet in order to receive Brave and to tip people. The Brave wallet is only if you want to withdraw the basic attention tokens into your own custodial wallet. So,
right. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure when I first installed Brave, I just was like, oh, this has something to do with ads, and I can turn it off. I'm pretty sure I turned that off.
Yeah,
I never see any ads. I never see any ads.
So you turned off the ads, so you don't receive basic attention token, which means you also.
I know I don't receive it, but that also means you're not receiving it if I'm watching your content.
That's correct,
because I have it turned off. Okay, that's what I was curious.
Yeah. So if you were to turn it on, you would also then see it. It shows you a list of your most commonly viewed and how much of your tip is going to them. And that's by default. But if you
these ads, where would these ads be popping up? Because I have to admit I like an ad-free experience. So where would all these ads?
If you're on Windows, they just pop up as a notification bar on your bottom, just like if you were to get an email. Or if you open up a new page, like a new browser page, like you press the plus button, it'll do a full page ad in the background.
Got it.
Which aren't bad actually. I don't know. I like looking at them. I don't mind the ads. I got mine cranked.
They're usually relevant.
Yeah, I got them, and you can choose what you're interested in, right? Like
I just so I just opened up a fresh page here, and I'm seeing I see I blocked 24,000 ads. How much bandwidth I've saved,
That blocking though is what they're talking about. Is they're blocking the in-page ads. So like if you go to a website that has these in-page ads, they block that junk, which is always going to happen regardless of BAT a token. So that's just a benefit of using Brave. But
and then I see over here start using rewards. It's so funny because I never even look at the blank pages.
I mean, it's pretty nuts. I've just by using Brave, not even collecting rewards from Titan but just using Brave, I've made probably in the last 6 months probably $50-$60 US in Brave tokens. And it's dude, what browser has ever paid me $60 to use it? It's just insane, right?
Yeah, right. I've been promoting that for a long time.
So if I'm just looking, so I get money for seeing ads, for letting them serve me ads. I would actually be getting. LAX seems to be up.
That's correct.
Heads up, guys. Just saw a stream come in. Okay, now I understand how that works.
Yeah. What basic attention token does is it pays the end user for the ad rather than paying a middleman, right? So every time you see an ad, you get paid a micro amount of basic attention token, right? But then what happens is there's this tipping option, which is on by default, you can turn off, which takes 10% of all the ad revenue you receive and gives it to the content creators that you view the most.
Got it.
Right? And so Titan Node receives, 10% of somebody's basic attention token that they've been watching because they like my content the most.
Now I understand how it works.
Basic attention token is one of the smartest things ever to come out of crypto. It's absolutely insane. But what that would do is also then pay for the infrastructure of something like Livepeer. Because the publishers of Livepeer, it's all an advertising model, right? You're never going to get away from advertising models because we're just so ingrained with it, right? Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, it's all advertising. The publisher always has to publish for free, and the eyeballs always have to be able to watch it for free. But there's just ads in between, and that's what pays for the whole thing. And so basic attention token does that in a Web3 manner, and that would pay for the infrastructure. So anyway,
yeah, now I understand how it works. I just never even like knew how it worked. That's why I come on these calls. I'm always learning stuff.
Yeah.
Here.
So if you want to turn on your ads and go ahead and hop on my Twitter and just press the donate button to Tight Node, you can just go ahead and donate.
I gotta build up some brave here. You're not gonna get anything for some bat, or you're not gonna get anything from me, right?
Right? Yeah. Just start watching those Canadian milk ads. Although you're probably not going to get them down there, but
Start a script that just wakes up in the morning, surfs his site 1,000 times, and then closes it out. You'll help.
That's funny. I was actually just thinking that. I'm like, so what stops people from doing that kind of stuff? Just having a script, just basically just clicking on.
You got to
page after page.
You got to watch Brendan Eich's explanation of that, because he's the one who created Brave. He's also,
I'm sure it's been obviously been thought about.
He's also the guy that invented JavaScript in 10 days. So like, he's kind of a bright guy.
Yeah, and he also invented the Netscape Navigator browser.
And
so the
Mozilla.
Original browser.
And
That's
Mozilla
right.
Firefox.
So the original browser. Yeah. So this dude is when I heard about Brave, it was a while ago, and the token was like pennies, 10 cent or something. I was buying it then, and I don't know what it went up to, but I think it's still doing pretty well.
Yeah. Yeah, Bat's amazing. But Bat, like Livepeer, can only live off of an economic model like Bat, in my opinion. In my humblest opinion.
I'm definitely. I learned a lot here, and I'm definitely gonna play around with that and see how. I learn from doing. So yeah, I'll flip that on and see how it goes.
Yeah, like the way I see it is like you have Bat that pays the infrastructure, but it also pays the producer of the content, that also pays for the basic attention token is like the money that pays for all this, and then you have all the different layers of infrastructure in between, and then you have an end user who's willing to accept ads, and you have a producer that's willing to publish for free in the beginning before they can monetize.
I mean, it sounds like it's a good way of sharing the ad revenue amongst everyone involved in it.
That's right. If you look at Mr. Beast's YouTube channel, he's making, I don't know how much money he's making, but he's making lots of money, and 50% of his revenue generated on that channel goes to YouTube. So, when you're talking about creators having a pain point that they need an answer, it becomes obvious. I just still haven't found the way to look at it. Like, the BAT model makes a lot of sense, but how does that Mr. Beast translate to that? Like, if you're not using Brave, which again, Brave in terms of percentages is still rather low, it's hard for me to get my hands around how that would work. But I agree, 5 years from now, I'm certain that it'll be relevant.
There you go. Okay, we've been at this for 2 hours.
We're
15 minutes.
way past time.
Yeah. We're gonna cut it there. We're gonna call it a day. I appreciate everyone coming here. This has been a really great chat, and thank you so much for joining. And we will see you all next week.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Cheers.
Thank you. Bye.
See y'all here.